with wasn't expected to go 3 maps with Fnatic. And of course, why am I drawing a blank here? Now Sports, thank you.
I don't know where you're going with that. I thought you had something
I don't
really
know
interesting
either,
to
but
say.
this one was expected to go 3 games. That's what I was going to say. So this is the series we thought might go longer. We are going to have now Dignitas playing against the new Titan lineup. It's the first time I've seen them in the flesh, in the server.
The flesh?
So, well, it means in the server with them.
I think both
0 for 2.
both teams with a lot to prove to the community, to themselves, to their fans, especially Titan. I don't think they expected to go out in groups in the major, and at the same time, Dignitas had a pretty good showing earlier on this summer, around DreamHack summer period of time. But then ever since, they've been a bit absent from most of the competition, not being able to qualify for the major, for example, and stuff like that. So 2 teams here that really need to prove their worth.
I think you're absolutely right. And with that in mind, should we have a look at the Titan
Yeah,
roster?
let's look at Titan first, and then we'll get back to the Dignitas point, because that is interesting, that they were a team that was actually rated in the backside of the top 10 for a little while, and had some good performances at various events, like you said, Copenhagen Games included. But here we go. RPK Smith's one of the new boys on the team, over from that Envious roster shuffle. Existence, Shocks, the other guy that's come over from Envious, and Maniac.
So, if we want to go into a little bit more detail, RPK, CS Source player, was the world's best Counter-Strike Source player. Coming into CSGO, not really found the same sort of form. He's been a reasonable player, but definitely, I wouldn't even say within the top 20 at the moment of players around that sort of level. So, moving on to Smiths, like you said, coming over from the Envy lineup. He can be a decent hybrid player, can AWP, can be a decent rifler as well. And Existence, the tactical mastermind behind this lineup. Although, it has to be said, this team has been lackluster recently, hasn't really found some solid form, and they did last year maybe.
For the past year, actually.
The past year?
I'm going to be honest with you. A team that everyone expected always to go pretty far, but just has not been able to deliver to their expectations.
So, moving on to Shocks. So, another player, I think if you're going to pick out one MVP on this entire lineup, has to be him. One of my favourite players to watch, one of the scariest aimers in the entire planet, I think, and can definitely turn rounds away in his favour at any moment.
You could take this photo, compile it into one, and they're perfectly posed to make it a group photo.
Yeah.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's clever.
I think I've seen that somewhere.
And then Maniac as well. He was often criticised, saying he didn't commit full time to the team. He was asked to step back from his job and from his studies, which he has done now. And he has been playing a little bit better recently, actually finding some decent fragging now. But I think this team, definitely, they've got a lot to prove still. We haven't seen the best of them yet, obviously. Went to the major, got knocked out by Renegades in the end. I spoke to Shocks after it, and he just said how heartbroken he was seeing Envy on the main stage and thinking that's his old team, and how he longs so badly to be back on that stage. And we think it may be a while before that happens, though.
It could be. I know he's got motive to beat Envy. I know he was a little bit bitter with how that all transpired and went down for him to be on this roster, but motivation.
Yeah, we were there in Montreal when things started to happen, right? So
it was pretty obvious and awkward at times when you could see them around the hotel, what was about to happen.
Yeah, it was pretty easy to tell what the bunch of were there. But I think the storyline for Titan has always been the fact that they've usually done well when they have a lot of intel and knowledge about their opponent, and they've always gone the route of trying to anti-strat a certain tendency of their opponent, especially when their opponents are on the defense side. But then again, a lot of the times they struggle against teams they don't know as much about and that are considered an underdog against them.
That's the thing. They definitely seem to struggle against underdog teams a lot, and that's a main problem for them. I don't think that's going into this matchup tonight against Dignitas. I think they should be aware, at least, and done their homework here. They know how much is on the line. Obviously, don't want to be knocked down to that last chance off the bat. If we're talking about who you favour here, I do think Titan are above Dignitas just from what I've seen recently. Dignitas, beginning of the year, looked fantastic around the May sort of time. They actually looked like a really solid lineup. And recently, though, didn't qualify for IM, didn't qualify for the major, had a very weak performance at Ace of Predator Masters as well. So they're definitely both teams looking to prove themselves, I think, going forward.
It's funny because TSM started the slump in that same period of time since their little moment of brilliance. And again, it was when they swapped out, again, who else other than what TSM swapped? Fetish for the leadership of MSL as we look now at Dignitas' lineup. And that was when things started to look better, and it looked promising that maybe the Danes would have 2 top teams.
Yeah, well, we can see the lineup there. MSL, Pimp, AZ, Nico, Kayabi. just to quickly round this up. So Pimp, probably the headline player along with AZ, I'd say. Those are the guys, the poster boys, if you will, the two top fraggers normally. Kiabi, new to the lineup, 18 years old, fresh blood to the team, has been tipped as one of the hottest talents in CSGO right now. For me, hasn't really come to fruition that much. And when the games I've casted of him, he's been good, but not really to the levels he's been hyped up to be, maybe. Would you kind of agree there? What do you think that lies?
I want to point out Nico is sort of my problem with this team right now, because this game has developed into buy whatever you can kind of game where
Sure.
a lot more weapons into AWP is going to be so important. And unfortunately, Nico is not that good of a player outside of opping. He's a very good opper, but he's way worse when he's playing with different other weapons.
So if he's forced, if like he said, they've forced up the second round, he goes
Sort
to the
of.
first round without the rifles. Without the AWP, he's forced to the rifle. You feel like he's not able to keep up. And then MSL, the in-game leader for the team there. But moving on, we go to the past encounters.
This is the interesting one. The past encounters favor Dignitas entirely.
Different lineups, to be fair
Right.
to them. So it's
And
difficult.
some of these are dated as well.
Yeah. So like the last time these guys played, from my memory, is Gfinity at the top there, and it looks like Dignitas had them at that event. But like we said, there's just 2 players removed from the Titan lineup. A lot has changed since then. That was quite a long time ago. But let's have a look at the matchup here. I think we've got a nice one lined up for you. I think Shoxy versus AZ, 2 of the most explosive players on the server. AZ being tipped, well, whenever I watch him, he's my favourite player on Dignitas to watch. He can turn rounds around very easily. He seems to find frags out of absolutely nowhere. Same can be said for Shox, but I definitely put him above AZ any day of the week, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, AZ being that borderline player, always being in between the first or the second best team in Denmark, but he's still 19 years old. You have to remember that, very young guy. So I think if he keeps on grinding, I think he will probably have his chance eventually.
Yeah, well, he's definitely been notified by a lot of people in that Danish scene, and he's definitely active within that community. Like you said, he was up and down between the first team back when TSM was Dignitas. He was on that roster for a period of time before they made the changes to become the roster they are today. It is going to be a different matchup for sure. This could go either way, in my opinion. It just depends on which team shows up ultimately from Dignitas. That seems to be the case. You talked about some time that they had some brilliance, Natsu, but it's been a lot of inconsistencies since. You've highlighted Nico. Is there anyone else that has to really perform, and do they have to step up on any particular side this evening?
Well, I mean, I think they've sort of been under the radar out of the radar more like since that period of time I was talking about. So I'm not really sure. I haven't seen much of them since DreamHack Summer, Dignitas Summer, and those events. So Kjærby is a player, in my opinion, who for example, he plays alone on the A side of Mirage, who's the type of guy who can be a turret, just killing people all everywhere and across the map. So I think he's one of those players who I'm really looking forward to how he performs tonight and going further as well. I think he's going to be an important part if Dignitas wants to make that extra next step.
I think with Kjærby as well, he's one of those players that goes absolutely sick, and you think, wow, what a fantastic player. Or he's very quiet indeed. You don't really notice him. So, and that's who said, depending on the performance he brings here, he could be the linchpin for Dignitas if he does find some decent form. But if we're talking about individual players, like Shoxy, I think, could represent 2 or 3 players. To be honest, sometimes the skill he can bring to his team. So very difficult player to lock down, and one of my favorite players to watch, actually.
The other aspect as well with Titan is in this rebuilding, having gone out earlier than, like you said, they hope to and plan to in the major. Mm-hmm. There's going to be motivation there because they want to get this new roster ironed out. Not to mention Titan, before they made the changes, were at rock bottom. So there's going to be no easing off the gas pedal. Every match is going to be taken with dead seriousness for these guys, and qualifying for this LAN would be huge.
Frustrating for them, seeing like the team they had the direct swap with, Envy, getting all the way to the grand final, having the exact same amount of time to practice day and night. If you compare the 2 teams, I think that's what's so frustrating for Titan right now, seeing their counterparts actually shoot straight to the top, and having to sit back and watch out from the audience.
And exactly. My point is that should motivate them. So this should be one of those games, those first couple games after the major, where they're dead on it. We'll see if that's going to be the case. We'll look at the maps. This could help paint the picture for what we expect to see this evening. So Titan right away, they take out Cash. The response from Dignitas, bye-bye Dust 2. Which is, I actually don't mind the way Dignitas play on Dust 2, but obviously not favoring it.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Train from actually either team recently, so that's a map going to be interesting to see how that turns out and how they play it. Mirage's second map, right?
Yeah, so that's
I think that's a Dignitas map.
at this point in time.
Absolutely.
Titan was pretty bad on it at the major. I hope for their sake that they've been doing a lot of work on it. At the same time, Dignitas has that's the map I think they have the most upside potential against. Even the better teams against. So that's the map I see Dignitas picking up. But I think a train is going to be, it's a very 50-50 as the odds seem to be pointing out there.
Yeah. So that then would indicate, so if you do think that Dignitas do pick up Mirage, the key to the series for Titan would be they have to win, therefore, on map number 1 in order just to get to Cobblestone. Obviously, map 1 being Train, Cobblestone. How do we figure the chances there if it does go that far for Titan?
I'm trying to remember how it went down at the major. Don't think I've seen Titan play Cobblestone, so I can't really comment on that as well. It's a map Dignitas seem to stray away from as well. So I think the maps are going to be really interesting. The fact we're playing with Train first, I think it's going to be indicative of how prepared Titan are going forward. Whether they've got this kind of mentality to take down a team like Dignitas, I think this is the perfect test for them as well. They're not going up against a world class team. Definitely a team they think they probably rate themselves above.
We'll look through the odds and the predictions for this evening, and we'll come back and get ours just at the end. It's fairly even as well, but does still favor Dignitas slightly, at least on EGB. There could be some back and forth here. Same as actually almost identically on esports gaming. So a lot of people have Dignitas in their side. CSGO Lounge no different, a little bit closer there. And HLTV, they go the other way. They've got Titan pegged to win it. What's Twitch chat going to say? That's always the interesting one. Twitch chats with Titan as well.
I think I do favour Titan just purely down to the Shoxy factor. I think he can explode in existence. We talked about him being such an amazing in-game leader, has a very drilled mentality for his teams, make sure there's a lot of set pieces in there, and he's very clever at dissecting teams. But
at the same time, Brilliance hasn't really delivered a lot recently. Let's be honest.
Yep,
seriously, we've been talking about this for 4 years, how brilliant he is. And okay, he does bring a lot of strategy and theoretical things on the table, but in practice, it just doesn't seem to be working as well.
Kind of like Jordan Nothing Gilbert for a time after his 1.6 days. Finally, now with Cloud9 looking a little better, but let's get our predictions really quickly, and then we'll jump into the server. Natu, going to start with you as always at the end of the table.
I'm going with my gut feeling. I'm saying Dignitas 2-0.
I based on my Vulcan picks, I thought this was going to go all the way, so I'm going to say Titan 2-1.
And I think if Titan do win it, it won't be in 3. I'm going to go Dignitas 2-0 as well. I'm going to go with Natu on this one.
Okay.
Key to the series, though, as mentioned, though, obviously we favor Mirage to go to Dignitas. Train is the key for Titan. If it goes to 3, I think they might be able to pull it off on Cobblestone. And what does Twitch think? They think 2-1 Titan. So we've got one with you, Henry, and then us 2 against you. So we're split.
Me in the middle, as always.
The thorn between 2 roses.
Beautiful.
It's okay. You're not actually Thorn. That's the good news. But here we go. So, again, team that picks the map doesn't get to pick their side. Therefore, Titan will start out on the terrorist side of Train. It's not a bad map to actually start at the have to start out terrorist side. Obviously, Na'Vi and VP showed off how strong that CT side can be, but usually speaking, it's around the 8796 mark.
Yep, I think that's fair. Pistol round, obviously, will be very important here. Titan, we talked about them being a very tactical team. I'm sure they'll bring something more to the table than just a straight-up rush. And look out for more methodical, utility-based strategy from them.
Also interesting, just a random thought I just figured out is that Zonic, who joined in, I was going to say MGW, but joined Dignitas as their coach. And I haven't seen him play since he joined them, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of if there's been big differences between how they play now, especially in Mirage and map. I've seen them play before. See what kind of differences we see.
So he's yet to go to a LAN with them yet, right? So this could be this. Is he actually on the server now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be an interesting factor, something they could be, well, maybe what they have been looking for recently to get them back in a good level head. MSO, obviously the in-game leader for Dignitas, maybe getting a little bit of help now from Zonic. So we're just waiting for one more player from the Titan. RPK. Getting ready, RPK tank, some people call him, what is known as back in the day.
A tank in the train yard.
How convenient.
Well, that's the only thing I could think to move a train effectively with. We'll see what Smiths has brought over as well from Tactics on the Train side of Envious, because they were one of the first teams that actually, even way back at X Games when there was talk, that was when they made the announcement that far back. Of course, it took some time for tournaments to play out the seasons where they were already using Nuke, but that was when they made the announcement Nuke was going to be pulled from the map pool.
Sure.
And then over the next couple of months, it got watered out of leagues as it could, and there was fit to do so. But they were one of the first teams that I talked to, and it was MBGay who said, Happy actually agreed with him, is that there's so much potential use for smokes, and we've seen that be the case on this map. Envy became one of the teams that was most effective at it, so wonder what that can bring to Titan's T-side here.
What I really hope to see from Titan's sake is that Shox is let to just go free and do what he feels like doing, and then four of them is going to play together something. So, because Shox has the potential, like we pointed out before, to be one of the best players in the world, and I would really love to see that happening because it's very exciting to watch when he's on his top.
Well, looks like we are now ready to go live as we go into the second game of this evening. It is going to be a best of 3 between Team Dignitas and Titan on D-Train. Dignitas on the CT side, Titan starting as T, and as I said, they've actually got 4 sets of armor there. 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs, 4 existence. He's the in-game tactical leader. Let's see where they're heading.
And only 3 sets of armor because MSL desperately wanted to get a smoke out. He's going to use that on the inner ramp. Try and spot them as they cross, but they've managed to get past him on the inner site. So now they need to get the rotation. 1 kit as well for Nico. He's got a nade. He needs to play efficient or die in a place where that is going to be quickly recoverable. Instead, he just gets RPK. That's not a bad start. Look for MSL, who's pushed through his own smoke to get behind them, but he's found out, taken by Maniac, and they now have the man advantage with the bomb down. Existence, watch out, Kirby right behind. He's spotted up before Existence has even come to the awareness that he's there, and Maniac not yet able to trade it. He has put Kirby down to 10 HP, so this battle rages on until Maniac wins it, bringing it back to the one-on-one. Is Pimp holding this? He's not. He's going to try now. He's picked up that kit from, as I said, Nico, who had it. It was the only kit in play. This does help his odds significantly, and he's going to hold it against the Glock, but the Glock eventually will get the headshot.
So I was saying we may see something a little bit more methodical from Titan there, but straight up rush inside. Instead of going down lower, though, straight out the upper side. All 5 players bailing out there. Didn't get the bomb down straight away. Was a little bit messy to start with, but came down to a 1-on-1 in the end. But more importantly now, Dignitas have got to 3 scouts here after getting to so many kills. They can actually justify this. Could be a really interesting round.
Yeah,
we can see Titan with 2 Mac 10s there.
So one of them in the hands of Kirby is going to hell. Pimp's not going to have... Oh, he is actually. Take that back. Pimp is going to have... So they get 2 toward the IV position. They've already done damage with 1 onto Existence. But Kirby's tagged down to 23 in response. So they need to still be a little bit careful here, as well as the fact that they've got to contend with the AK-47 of Smiths and Maniac in that position. The 3rd scout, by the way, is with Nico. It's also not far away inside that A site. Utilizing that smoke, Titan to try and stay in cover. Smiths is the only one that's stuck around. The rest have adjusted their position, gone back toward that main connector, and Smiths just using all precaution to make sure he finds anyone standing in the off angle. It's Kirby that eventually does get found out. Now they've got a chance to split the site, and they go from the front. If AZ drops down, he will take down Shoxy, and that's going to be the case, but watch for Smiths, who's still in behind them and going to find Pimp as he puts his attention, unfortunately, the wrong direction. RPK also picking up a kill. Low HP for Smiths in Existence as the 2 scouts are still in play, but they can't find the shot. Nico missing on Smiths brings it now down just to MSL. He's going to use that pistol knowing they're low, and that's one of them gone. Smiths is out of the equation. It's left to Existence, but RPK has the AK, and he's got the kill plus $300.
So a pretty big investment there from Dignitas. 3 scouts was the table, but they did get a decent amount of damage off, 3 kills as well. But ultimately, it's around the Titan win, and this is what we talked about. Nico going into that first round, he's not going to have the AWP this time. And we've got a slight pause coming in. I assume this is technical rather than tactical. Very early stage of the game to actually pause for anything other than that. So let's have a quick look at the cash for the CTs. 2 grand across the board. So you would expect a full eco this time, nothing being bought whatsoever. All 5 players still connected to the server. It looks like Pimp's ping is spiraling slightly. So he's been known to be DDoSed a few times in the past. Quite controversially
Poor
sometimes.
guy.
I think there was one point where his whole town was getting DDoSed because of him. So,
does that make you a local legend or a local enemy?
Local pest, I would say. Your whole town can't use the internet because of one person.
I wouldn't be a fan of that.
I think I agree. The things you can't do without internet.
Life is meaningless without internet.
I'd agree
Let's
with
not
that.
get too philosophical here, guys.
What would you say, Matt? Race cars?
I don't
or?
agree with that. If I had to choose between the 2,
Mm.
I dare say race cars.
I knew you would.
Yeah, hands down.
Right then. Game back on. So obviously, like I said, Dignitas full eco here. Titan with the AK. Maniac not investing too much into this round. He will just keep his money relatively healthy with the P250. And seems like the only investment from the CT side is AZ with that CZ in hand.
They've gone early knowing as well that that force was so heavy on Dignitas' side into the AKs. So that means they shouldn't, if they don't get in any trouble here against the pistols, have to upgrade too much going into round number 3. Could see guns, but desperately so from the CTs, and so far it is effective. Existence with the nade kill. Smith's picking up 2. Add another one now to RPK, and just Kirby remains at Ivy. So not much done with these pistols. Bomb's going to go down. Titan looking poised to take a quick 3-0 lead, and AK's already out. 42, 45. They could force on the CT side, but it would be light with the M4s.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to buy in this scenario. You can't allow 4 rounds to go by without a full buy coming in. So rifles will be there, but this is the round you need to be pushing Ivy or sending 2 players aggressive inside, for example. Try and catch the T's out. Because look, they haven't got a single kit there. They can't allow the bomb to go down. If Titan did do a full set piece there and force a post-plant situation, they are absolutely knackered here.
Crucially, they've gotten 5 smokes out, but no one stuck to the FAMAS to try and get a kit, like you were saying. There's no head armor on Kirby and Nico, but again, they are against AK-47s. It won't make too much of a difference. Fast play right now from Titan. 3 players bringing that bomb toward B in Existence, getting MSL before he can do anything to stop it. Means that they've got the site control. Not only that, we can see it. Existence pushing forward, as is Smith, so they'll get in the face of Titan, or rather, excuse me, Dignitas when they try and retake the site, but Kirby and Nico each able to find a kill. What can Maniac do from the high position, the common post-plant setup? As Nico now finding RPK gives the chances greater to Dignitas. Maniac and Shox, they'll play a crossfire, and Shox is actually going to go over to the same position, so they'll have a double chance to peek out and take that bomb away, but he's smoked, which means he has to overextend, and that means there's 2 people firing at him, and that's going to be enough from Dignitas. And I think they do have it, and they do.
Sorry.
Really appreciate the simplicity from Titan there, just basically going down lower. And again, we saw the battle up front, going aggressive on that inner site. Goes in the favor of Dignitas, and then it's going to be an impossible hold after that, basically, when you're outnumbered and you don't have any aggressiveness on that inner bomb site.
Yeah, really solid retake from Dignitas there. Like we said, no kits there. Had to act fast. Got back onto the bomb site, took down the T's, and defused with a few seconds remaining. But that was a round I think they had to win. Would have been a horrible situation for them had they not. But, of course, Titan farming enough money with another plant. So Smiths will have the AWP this time. Opens it up onto KRB.
That was odd.
Yeah, well, definitely helps Titan start things off again on their terrorist campaign. Still with guns. Reasonable money still in RPK in Existence as well. Intentionally dropped down toward where Maniac's playing at Ivy, but look at Pimp. He tries desperately to re-smoke into that Ivy position. They have to compensate for the lost man on the A site, which means he'll play it from the Hell side. He can't segregate himself and pull himself too far away from the rest of the defenders, Nico and AZ, who are playing very far forward, and Nico finding RPK when he goes down the ladder. That works out. It gives AZ a chance to turn his attentions onto the main connector, but that's where Smiths will pick up his 2nd kill and give the advantage back to Titan until Pimp can find Existence, but there's nowhere to hide after being that far forward for that long. So eventually it's inevitable. The key now is that Nico has managed to get behind him through the ladder after getting that kill. So he could backstab Smiths here, who won't see him coming, and Nico's staying quiet enough that this could pay off. Smith's in that corner. Does he see him in time and get that shot? He checks it, sees the barrel of the gun, and that's going to be the key, but he needs to be careful not to walk out in front of the op and miss a shot, because it could have just been reactionary. And now another one to follow it up. Nico, what a play. That flank is everything. 4 kills in the round, and MSL to get the defuse.
Titan just took way too much time getting that bomb down. That should have happened like 15 seconds earlier already. But Shoxy almost just pushing through T-Quad and going towards the bomb site. They're almost getting those important kills to secure that round. But Nico with the flank and getting these 3 big kills.
Yeah, perfect flank as well. Timed that to perfection. T's had no awareness that where he was coming from.
And crucially, he didn't go when the death cam was still on. He actually fell back initially on the death cam, so they couldn't even call it. There was no... I mean, like you said, timing was everything. It was both on the arrival and the departure.
Well, interesting enough, now Titan are forcing into this round 2 players on pistol. No AWP, 3 AKs. We'll be heading towards the inside area.
Slowly but surely. MSL's dropped a smoke out. No intentional gap, so doesn't stay to try and get picks. He's actually just going to fall back behind the bomb train and beat. An Existence who managed to at least cause some tension at Ivy has pulled Kirby back in that position, but he and Pimp have been playing there together in previous rounds as well. So nothing abnormal right now from the setup of Team Dignitas. Nico's in that position inside Z connector. that he'll be able to rotate and help MSL as soon as the call is made, and naturally, it will be soon. Through the skylight, smoke's deployed. One bouncing immediately on top of the bomb train. That'll cover off MSL's position. Does he flash himself through? As RPK still not down, but the bomb is. That's going to be planted. It's dropped. He finds that kill, and that's crucial. Shox gets back into him, but Nico's arrived, and the AWP has done significant damage. But look at Smiths. He's managed to push forward of the site. 2 kills. Almost brings this back into contention until Pimp will do the same, and he gets the last laugh.
So full inside execution there. Huge use of smokes as well. We talked about only having 3 rifles, and Nico getting the AWP in his hands really stepped up there. 2 huge frags. Smiths had a little bit of a chance of getting some favor back in their way, but unfortunately left Shoxy in an unwinnable situation. Just getting the bomb down and slayed as soon as he did that as well. So I think now Titan probably, I was going to say, maybe take an eco here and actually stabilize the economy. They're going to keep buying and trying to force the issue.
I think it's a fair buy,
Yeah,
considering the money situation.
it's just the amount of utility they have available now. It's just they've got no smoke grenades whatsoever.
They're going to have to rely on Shox to get in the picks.
There it is.
There we go.
Don't worry about it.
Not sure Pimp to follow up. That initial kill that goes against his teammate Nico as he puts out another smoke toward Connector. Gets back on the ladder. AZ's fallen back off that ladder position, so they'll be more passive. Nice nade, though, from AZ to find Shox. It's exactly what they need to equalize the situation. Pimp aware of the fact that someone could have pushed down, and AZ's going to follow that up. No smoke between quad gives him the angle to do so. In fact, he did that from in front of electrical, so very aggressive play from AZ. He's going to follow it up with a third now onto Smiths, and Pimp will close out the round. Dignitas taking 4 in a row after losing the pistol.
Yeah, Titan couldn't capitalize on that first big shock he got there. Existent got into T-quad, but really didn't manage to do anything. And then it was just getting picked apart one by one here. A nice nade towards Shoxy here. It's right on the money. And Dignitas looking more and more comfortable going further into this half, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would prefer them to do something a little bit faster, I think. Once they got that first kill on from Shoxy, possibly could have reacted a bit quicker just to counteract not having any smoke or anything.
Yeah, like you see Fnatic, for example, do a lot. Instead, when they get that first kill, they're just going to swarm that site.
They are pushing fast at inner, and MSL using that smoke again did massive damage to not only one where he picked up the kill, but a second that allows Nico to take down Maniac, and another very quick and efficient round. The bank is building right now on Dignitas' side.
That is the danger zone right now for Titan. If they're not getting kills and letting Dignitas win these rounds cleanly, it's going to be really hard forcing an eco for Dignitas going further.
So before, Shoxy on the AWP this time. Smith's picking it up. We won't be going for an aggressive phase. We'll be waiting for the CT aggression here. It's not going to come. So a much slower tactic.
AZ, though, again, watch him get into the ladder room. He's pushed up so many times on the CT side. He has to hold in the room, though, because Pimp's not yet in a position to cover off the front of the site, which means from Connector, AZ could have a potential threat. Self-deployed smoke just to make sure that he's not in the vision of Shoxy, who's yet to push through. Waiting this out, and RPK, as we can see, is just above AZ's position. But no one yet moving. Smith's going to take that bomb back into those upper tunnels, or hallways, rather. Just as AZ falls away from this, and with 1 at Ivy, 2 in the main connector, this looks like it's going to be an A split. Nico finding Shoxy will shut it down first because, again, there's no smokes from Titan on that quad position. Pimp needs to watch out. Maniac snuck up nonetheless, and Smith's taking down AZ means that the trade kills have to be effective and are. Dignitas now have the lead 2-1. With RPK on very low HP, not able to collect that shot, but the nade could be enough. Is it? Yes. RPK down and out. It's 6 rounds now in a row.
Feels to me like Dignitas had a bit of a more passive approach to holding outer bomb site compared to like Virtus Pro, for example. The only player that is really pretty much up front is Pimp, who's playing that between 6 screens.
So now the double orb set up there. Nico actually stepping up massively the last 2 rounds. 3 frags to him once again. Currently stat on there. 14 kills after 10 rounds. 9 rounds, sorry. Not bad at all. And now the double orb setup does come in. Another force buy from Titan. Only a Tech 9 on Shoxy. Much faster approach from him this time.
Speaking of Smiths as well, he's on 12 kills, so those 2 players looking great. And there is Smiths getting one on AZ. That allows Existence to follow it up. Care be gone. Smiths with a second. It's Nico, the man we just talked about, leading the way. Gets one up this time by his nemesis so far in these early rounds. And now Titan have something to work with, although it is still 2 versus 2. But Maniac has gone with the bomb to the inner site. Shoxy winning against MSL. Well, there you go. He closes out the round himself. Maniac's going to get an extra 300.
Well, picking up the pace worked out for them. Even though Dignitas used their roll-on off really early and make it hard to get off those choke points, still Titan getting those trade kills in favor of themselves. And Shoxy there with the last 2 kills.
Yep, doesn't even need a rifle. Just a Tech 9 and he'll absolutely wipe the floor Dig there. So they get their first round after 6 in a row for Dignitas there. Not going to be running the dual upset at this time. Just Nico. This is Shoxy going for some early aggression on main as well.
Smiths will jump over the wall. Kirby, the one who's been watching Ivy, some damage dealt onto Smiths on the way through, but he runs past the fire. MSL down, easy to respond and needed to because this gives up the site. Bomb's already going to be planted for RPK. Nico's going to go through CT to take a different approach on this retake, but look at Existence because he is just beyond the bomb train. Again, trying to take the fight to Dignitas so that they can't get close to the bomb without being contested. Although Kirby's already taken down Maniac, and Existence position is given up without a kill and taken down in the end by AZ because he knew exactly where he was. It leaves just Shoxy and RPK, and change that statistic around. It's all RPK. Pimp getting him. Another retake successful from Team Dignitas.
Yeah, their inside pushes seem to get the bomb down pretty convincingly, but the post-bomb situation, they try to push down, and it seems like Dignitas are just ready for this as well. We saw Shoxy backstabbing from Connector there, and they were just ready for it as well. He needed to go a lot faster if he was going to make anything happen.
Yeah, and Existence could have had much more impact if he would have been a little bit more patient, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him.
Look at Smith, really is leading the charge there for Titan. 15 frags for him. The next closest on his team's going to have 5, so that does paint a picture for you. Who's making things happen for Titan now as we go into round number 12?
And that money bonus was reset by picking up round number 10. That was their first gun round, and losing the subsequent round means that back to pistols. They were actually not too bad considering money-wise. 4,100 still for Maniac, 3,150 for Shoxy. They could have forced, but they're making the right decision to play the long game here. Again, getting that pistol, getting 3 rounds. They've got 4 already. If they can get to just 2 more, it's not that much more when you really think about it, even though Dignitas has controlled since the guns have come out.
Getting the bomb down last round definitely did help. I like their discipline here, not investing too much into this round. You can see all 5 players heading towards the inside bomb site. I've got a couple of smokes as well, so this could work in their favor. Definitely get a plant here, I think.
It's domination, but yet Titan's still in it. When you look at it that way, not with MSL doing exactly what he does. A nice triple kill. He's been in contention in that position before, but that's the first time he's definitely shut it down with authority. 2 remain, just Existence and Maniac pistols. Armor and Maniac with the headshot on MSL. Does it get the bomb in position? No, it looked like it might, but Pimp is there quickly enough that it is dropped, and they will not get a plant in round 12.
Yeah, unfortunately, MSL just well too aware as to what was going on. As soon as that smoke dropped, he was ready with his incendiary, and it was perfectly placed and cooked the T's alive on the lower ramp there and picks up 3 kills. So nice work from him. I think we'll see a little replay. This couldn't be timed more to perfection. An incendiary and a nade being dropped on there. That is easy kills for him. As he takes 3. And we go to round number 13 now. So 2 rounds remaining. Titan definitely wanted to get a few more, well, the last 2 on the board if possible. Smith's picking up the AWP once again, and he has been huge this half.
Nico this time taking Kirby's position, watching Ivy. He's going to do so with the AWP. That allows Kirby a little more forward in the site to support AZ and Pimp. Pimp's all the way at hell.
Seems like Titan really opts to go to Ivy. A lot of these rounds when they're playing less slower pace, they always go Ivy.
And Nico loses that duel again, one-on-one with Smiths, who continues to have a solid performance now with 16 kills total. And he killed with 15. Nico just behind. See it in the lower third. So what can Titan do with the man advantage? Is Pimp and Kirby now focus on that Ivy position. It allows Shox, though, up in toward quad. So Pimp needs to be aware of that. Goes across toward Hell, and Shox had position on him, but he's not going to bother with that fight. He just wants to make sure he keeps this position, but AZ comes over when he's not ready for it. Maniac, meanwhile, will get Kirby. That does give them Ivy control to help Maniac's case here because now it divides the defense. Rotation's coming over from B. That's it right there. MSL finding Maniac. It's down to Smith's in Existence. We bring it yet to a 1-on-2, but AZ's there with the double to close it out. 9-4. Dignitas looking rather good.
So once again, Smith's opening up the round. Takes down Nico there, but AZ stepping up huge, getting 4 kills on the board. This great individual performance there. And that's another round on the board for Dignitas as we go to round number 14.
It's crazy what pistol rounds can do because, again, getting 3, they only need potentially 3 more rounds to make this not a bad half. They've gotten 1 gun round since that's all begun. 8 out of the last 9.
Yep, so you can say it's been a pretty horrible half so far for Titan, to be honest with you.
Actually, I should say 9 out of the last 10, not even 8 out of the last 9. Go the way to Dignitas. Nico's over early on to B this time to help out with MSL, who continues to deploy the same smoke on that ramp. And they are all going that direction. We can see it in the X-ray as Existence, Maniac, and Shoxy look to enter the site. They've got position as well on higher with Smiths. These pistols, what can they do? Do they have a smoke ready? They do. Shox will put that out. They'll cover off the sidewalk at lower, but great response from MSL because now they'll run down, take a hard right to try and get a fast plant, and that'll be waiting at their feet. Meanwhile, MSL turns back to upper, finding Smiths, but RPK, 1 kill in response at least. So they do get a bomb plant, Titan, which will give them guns and more utility in round number 15, but Dignitas are cleaning up on the retake. Nico not able to hit the second entrance shot. Kirby's there, defuse, pick up the AWP as well to hold on to it, and we're going to round 15 with 10 already in Dignitas' favor.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Winning the pistol there, had they have not gone that, they've only had 1 gun round so far, and that was actually on the round where they force bought 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9. Shoxy going big with the Tech 9, so you can't really say there's anything too convincing so far on the actual gun rounds.
Yeah, the only rounds they've had any dice on pretty much has been the rushes, the fast rounds. All the slow speed strats they've thrown at Dignitas have just been not working at all.
We go into the last round now. You see the AWP on Smith, which has been fairly effective, to be fair to him. Managing to pick off Nico a few times, but he will be ready this round as he actually takes down Smiths and wins the battle there.
So again, pushed forward. Tries to do some early damage. Maniac flashed up. As Maniac now, he's going to get smoked off again. Kirby not able to do too much about it. They still have a decent setup. Shoxy's going to join Maniac, so this puts 2 on Ivy and 2 at the ladder. AZ's not forward as we've seen him dominate that position earlier in the half. He still has his attention toward it, but a slightly different position. Does that change anything in the favor for Titan, who look for round 5? Would be, again, only their 2nd gun round. How remarkable is that on a train side of T? But here we go. Pimp holding on inside the site. Where's the action going to come? Maniac's going to find? No. Kirby waiting in the corner. Patience pays off. Shoxy, though, comes in with the op-up. Close and it all unfolds. They go on the queue, but AZ's there, and he gets down below with Pimp, and he takes down Existence to follow up. Shox gets AZ, and Pimp runs out of ammunition, so therefore can't finish the kill. It leaves Shox on 12, though, in a 1 versus 3, and that'll do it. 11-4 at half for Team Dignitas.
There was no synergy in that round for Titan at all. They went 1 by 1 by 1. Everyone, there was no trade kill possibility for anyone.
They're waiting for someone to go big, right? They're
yeah.
just looking for someone to step up and try to save the round for themselves. So we saw Shox doing the 1 gun round they did win, but they're getting the opening frags pretty convincingly. Sometimes, like Smith seemed there, like he finished on 16 frags. He was getting kills, but they just weren't able to capitalize there. So, like I said, without the pistol round, actually only got 1 real gun round on the board. So very convincing stuff from Dignitas, looking very strong there. The retakes especially on that first, the 4th round there, they didn't actually have any kits. Lost the inside bomb site, retook it really effectively. And they're looking like a solid unit right now.
Well-oiled machine, Dignitas.
Right,
again, we said train could be the key to the series. If this goes the way of Dignitas, remember, we got a Mirage next.
Let's just analyze the buy quickly for Dig. 2 sets of armor and 3 smoke grenades for the terrorist side, so that you do have to assume it's going to be an outside take with the wall of smokes out there. But it seems like they're going to be favouring towards Ivy straight away, so they're going to run into CTs as well. They open it up. Smiths goes down. RPK trying to fight back in this situation, manages to find 2, and he will get taken down by Pimp in the end.
Gives Shoxy now the position, though, against Pimp. Oh, his arm was shown when he threw it, but Shoxy, wait, he does. Bomb now down. 2 versus 2. Watch for Maniac as well, because he's trying to set up that crossfire position to come back into the site. And Shoxy's gone further down the tunnel because, again, he knows that bomb's there. They also have picked it up, and he's seen it. 15 HP, so luckily Maniac gets in position, but he's gone. It's down to Shox, who has to clutch this out against Nico. 1 versus 1, and Nico's already planting. So how does Shox elect to play it? Finds himself an angle to hope to find the exit from Nico, but unfortunately for him, he's worked towards Z connector, so he'll never expose himself to Shox's angle. And even more so, he's gotten further around the corner.
This is such a
as
harsh
Shox
match.
thinks he's going to go for the peak. If he pulls this off with 15 HP, like you say not to, it's extremely hard. it would be impressive. He'll go on the hunt. He has to right now, and it's not going to work out. Nico closes it, and Dignitas will take the second pistol.
Pretty exciting round there. We saw 3 players in Dignitas heading towards Ivy. There's actually a counter to that. CT's pushing back as well. And RPK somehow managing to find 2 frags in that situation wasn't quite enough there. This is the frags he got. I don't know how he stayed alive for so long. And he finally did get shut down. But around Dignitas do and continue their lead here. 12-4. The force buy has come in though from Titan. You see Smiths there. Had a great first half. He's got the scout in hand.
They're going to split again onto this A site with the rifle, so they'll keep their distance, try and find some picks. Works out so far for Pimp, as now AZ gets a little more forward, covering off towards the connector. MSL going to do the same, but only with 13 HP. Needs to be careful with this initial spray. Nico finds the kill he was searching for, and he manages to get Shoxy in the smoke. Leave it to just Maniac. Does get Kierby. Almost got another. So MSL again was on that 13 HP.
This is putting Titan in a really tight spot when it comes to the first weapon run. Again, they're in a situation where...
We seem to be saying this every single game.
Yeah.
There's ever a time when it doesn't happen.
I know. It's, people just keep force buying. I don't know. And they never win.
Literally, I can't remember the last time it actually worked out with someone. They actually every single time.
Fnatic did.
Fnatic, yeah, to be fair, okay, so that's shows you how good my memory is right now. That was the last game. But 90% of the time, I'd say we are saying, oh, I wish we hadn't have done that, is the point I was trying to make. But
yeah,
we go into this now, round number 18. No, nothing bought whatsoever, really, for Titan.
This is pretty old school. 3 pop in an anti-eco round, so maybe that's something Sonic has brought it to the table from some old playbooks.
The old playbook, blowing the dust off the old school books there.
Yeah.
This is how we used to do this.
Well, that's the 14th round. And like I said, putting Titan in a very difficult situation. They won't get the AWP this round, actually. So, 5 rifles, no kits once again. Dignitas pulled this round off. But will Titan have the same mental fortitude to actually reply back? If the bomb does go down, they're going to put themselves in a very high-pressure situation.
Kierby now will lead the charge out of spawn for his team. He'll head up toward the upper hallway. They're not all together here, which indicates by the split that they will be working from all angles onto the A site. With the exception of Ivy, they don't even put pressure there, and Smiths goes hunting, which pulls him away from the play, as now Pimp takes down Shoxy. Only able to find one beforehand, but Smith's on AZ. And RPK inside this smoke staring at Kierby. It gives Titan a chance to get back into it. Bombs planted, but Nico is gone. It's left to Pimp, and Pimp is gone to Maniac. It came close, but Titan get the round.
I think Natty's got something to say about this round. He looks like
AZ. Unbind that fast switch button, would ya? He jumped off the train, and he's fast switched as an opponent, which was walking into the screen. He would have gotten that kill easy, then would have been a totally different round, but end of the day he got killed, and then it was much easier for Titan.
The saving grace here for Dignitas is they got enough kills on the board there. It's going to put Titan on yet another sort of force buy. So they only got, well, they have got some more kits. So they're Famis onto RPK. So definitely around, if they win this one, it's going to be the GG moment. So Dignitas definitely not out of it yet. They've got a full buy here. Smoke grenades, Molotovs as well. Very fast play for them last round. It seems like they will be keeping up that same pace as well.
Molotov this time, though, on quad. Flash into it at Shoxy. Thought he was going to be in safety. Thought he was using his utility so well. Unfortunately, no one was doing the same to ladder, and that allows Kierby out and to take him down. Watch RPK try and recover. Kenny at all with the FAMAS. Manages to find only the first, and Pimp is there to avenge his teammate. Kierby, watch Smiths, makes another kill onto existence. And Smiths eventually does get dealt with. Pimp on 12 HP. MSL with bomb, full health, essentially. 91 total. Has Smiths as the last remaining player. And where do they take this bomb? MSL's running it inside. Pimp hasn't gone with him, so it's going to be a one-on-one for Smiths. And if Pimp doesn't hurry up and go right now, Smiths could almost, if he won this right away, defuse before he even arrived. And Smiths has already made it past where MSL's looking, so he may have the element of surprise. Firing those warning shots will give it away, though.
That was a big move by MSL there, going around and committing to that angle. Had he had died, he would have probably possibly lost that round for his team, but it doesn't matter. They win 15-5, and like I said, that's the money absolutely screwed for Titan.
Yep, it's not looking good, but I really do like Dignitas' fast-paced game here. They're making it look so good. Here's the Kierby getting the initial kill on Shoxy, who's totally unaware of that. And kind of weird that Titan had no presence towards that pop dock.
At least even someone scouting it to make a call at the very least, even if they don't want to play it at a forward position. And Shocks, again, you have to work together in those situations. Shocks this time finds the opening kill, though, so making up for lost ground, but it could be too little too late as they fall now to 3 men. However, still have the advantage. Pimp's got bomb. Is he going to try and go inner late? He will. Maniac might just beat him to it, though, and Nico's going to be late to arrive because he's got to go from main all the way into the hallways. And not only that, Maniac's in the site before they can cross. So these pistols look like they may just do enough to take us another round. Unless Pimp can find kills. Got a nade out. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get pushed and will. And that now has bomb down. Nico is going to meet the same fate. Not enough HP to make that probable. And it is now 6 for Titan.
Well, I think that's just pushing the inevitable at this point. But another rush from Dignitas this time. Titan taking the battle up front on the yard. Coming out on top and making it one more round for Titan.
Yeah, they obviously had to force by everything they possibly had. Set up some nice crossfires in the key choke points in the outside area, and it really worked out for them. A lot of attention distracted between the Team Dignitas team. They have got an AK here. It's going to be in the hands of Pimp. Not sure what he can do over here, though, as they actually haven't got any utility to enter any bomb side, so they will be making their way to the inside site. All 5 players committing to this. CTs have got 2 men waiting for them. It's going to be Maniac in existence, waiting there, lying in contention and ready for it. As they make their way, every T player heading towards the upper ramp here. Oh, they change their mind. I want to split this.
Watch what Pimp can do as well with the AK-47, the only gun they've got. It's gone already. Existence finding it. Now watch Maniac as he lines up, playing from the angle we talked about Taz being so successful in, but Nico gets back onto him. Bomb is in the hands of Kirby. Where's he gone? He's so far forward of the site that they won't be able to go for a bomb plant, even though they've had the time to do it, and it's gone. So Dignitas, no bomb plant. Again, they only need 1 more round, but as they are not high on economy, it could have given them a few more utilities to work with. AZ gets 1 more, and it'll go to Titan, bringing it back to 15-7.
Well, 8 in a row required for Titan. Stranger things have happened. There's no reason why they can't do it. They've definitely got the individual players to make this happen. Smith's currently set on 21 frags. Shoxy, Existence and Maniac, RPK even all around the 12 mark. So big struggle coming their way, but they have got an opportunity here to get a couple of rounds on the board because it's going to be more or less a full eco coming in from the Dignitas side.
Down the ladder quickly already is Pimp and Kirby. Nico and MSL as well, trying to come in from main. AZ's behind because he was throwing out the smokes and flashes, but Shocks with already 1 kill. May just get another. No, MSL responding it in time, but watch the flank. Maniac's already got himself in position, and that means it's going to be very hard for Dignitas to fall into post-plant positions. Gives Smith 2 kills as they try and do so. Looks for the 3rd, not landing it, but RPK is there, and they've been all cleaned up. It's Dignitas yet again that will have to wait to close this game.
Well, I think they knew they weren't going to win that round. It purely just came down to getting the bomb down. Got 1 kill as well, so mission accomplished essentially. And now Nico picking up that AWP. This is where the real test comes in for Titan. Can they hold off this first big gun round coming in? Obviously, no room to breathe for them. They've got the double AWP set up themselves. There's going to be Smiths and Existence running that. But they need to make sure the rest of the game is perfect. Dignitas look like they're slowing the things down. 2-1-2 set up for them right now.
Bomb dropped in the hallways as well, and MSL and AZ are just going to push forward onto inner. Likely they could still work the outside site with a 3-2 split, but they want to make sure that Maniac and Existence are held at bay because we saw what happened on the flank last round. Meanwhile, Existence, though, gets that kill on MSL, who is seeking that information, so AZ, interestingly enough, is still going to re-peek that. Or is he just going to switch weapons? Now he goes back over. Interesting to see as Pimp still working at Ivy. What's the call going to be from Dignitas as we still wait for Smiths and RPK inside playing defense? Maniac is eventually going to push this, and AZ was waiting but can't get the shot. So that all comes to nothing, and Nico just missed with that op shot all the way down the hallway. It rattled off the wall beside Maniac, and Titan again with a 2-man advantage right now. And building up their banks could force yet another save out of Dignitas. So it's a good thing he's got all these match points because unable to close it just yet. Typical Danish style, perhaps. Watch for Existence to cover up on the upper hallways, though, from the top of the oil tanker. And not only that, Maniac's down below, waiting passively for them to walk down the ramp and into position. They do have 3 coming into this inner site, so it'll be a 3-2 on the take And any damage dealt for Titan will help massively on the retake efforts if they're unsuccessful from holding off this bomb. So far, that's not going to be the case, though, because Maniac has 2 kills. Tried gets responded. But nade comes out. Massive damage. Shoxy for the chance. Knife in. Naiko, nice shot to cover it off. But the time is up. Does he keep himself alive? Needs to. Watches back. Get in behind. No. Gun and money gone.
Well, you talked about a Danish style. It's actually been a problem for Team Dignitas closing out games, and they're just so close to the finish line. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm sure they will do it eventually. It's just a matter of time right now. But with Nico there dying after the timer runs out, I was going to say maybe they'll consider Nico here, but Nico actually going to be left with a Glock. No one dropping him a little Tech 9 there. So, interesting round coming up. Another fast play outside though.
Fast indeed, but RPK, no, not able to connect the shots he's looking for. So now Dignitas actually do have a bit of an opening and the man advantage. Could this be it as Shox goes down to MSL? Bomb's not yet planted. MSL's going to bring that closer to the train and do so right now. Maniac, back, looking to find AZ, and it's over. AZ's got the kill. 1-0 Dignitas on train, 16-9 the final score.
Yeah, that round there. Smidge being up on City Tower just missed a shot on Pimp in quad and could have made it a 2-on-2 situation. It was a shot he should have hit as well, so. But yeah, Dignitas just being on I think they were just a better team. They obviously only 1 round on the weapons by Titan on T side is just unforgivable. Second half, Dignitas, I thought they played the fast pace is something they may have stolen from the old Finnish 1.6 D-Train playbook, and I do quite enjoy watching it actually, playing that fast-paced Counter-Strike. It's pretty hard to watch it, to defend against it.
As a Finn, I wonder why you would, calling it Finnish. Final thoughts before we look at the scoreboard? Anything that stood out to you guys?
Just lackluster from Titan in the first half, I'm afraid. Like, they're just lucky they got the pistol, unfortunately. If they didn't have got that, they would have got 1 gun round in the first half.
Yeah,
so
3 out of 4
it's difficult execution for them. Getting first picks as well, just not capitalizing on them.
Well, let's look at that scoreboard we talked about. We highlighted that Smiths actually did very well for Titan, considering their deficit. And there you go, 25 kills. Next best is 16. But Pimp and Nico tie themselves on 24. So who actually wins statistically here? Better KDA for Nico, more assists for AZ.
I think
more
considering
assists as well for himself.
Smiths actually opened up the round so many times to Titan and gave them opportunities to win rounds, I think he's the one you kind of have to pick out of anyone. Like, I don't think Titan got any rounds unless he had that kind of performance. So anyway, I guess we can have a look at the heat map and see where that's going. And let's have a look for Titan. You can see their T side. Well, they didn't.
Interesting that they have more, but they played more rounds.
Yeah,
not by a whole lot, really. So when you look at that,
that just shows you Dignitas, right? That just shows you the fast methods that they're actually employing. It only focuses on 2 areas of the map, really.
Yep.
The fast tactics they're doing, just kind of going towards connector and sort of quad area as well. That's where they're isolating all their attention towards when they do that fast tactic out of main. And I guess that just goes to show. And like I said, they were very fast there, and it was just a matter of time, to be honest, before they did win that first.
It's actually crazy that there's that much less paint on the map for Dignitas, even though they were the winners. Nico will be the MVP, despite that they were tied up, but he did have the slightly better KDA.
And also had a bunch of clutches he won, so.
And the first half, he was actually the standout as well.
The pistol round on the second half, and then 3 kills when it was flanking on the first or second weapon round and so forth. So a lot of impact kills, you could say.
Well, just like that, we are going on to map 2. DE Mirage, as you can see down at the bottom. But we'll take a break, as always, before we get there. Let the players get in the server, get set up, get ready, and we'll do the same. We'll see you there in just a minute. Gets the guns, but desperately so from the CTs, and so far it is effective assistance with the nade kill. Smith's picking up 2. Shot, he checks it, sees the barrel of the gun, and that's going to be the key, but he needs to be careful not to walk out in front of the op and miss a shot because it could have just been reactionary. And now another one to follow it up. Nico, what a play. That flank goes arrived. The AWP has done significant damage, but look at Smiths. He's managed to push.
So now the double orb set up there. Nico actually stepping up massively last 2 rounds. This couldn't be timed more to perfection. An incendiary and a nade being dropped in there. That is an easy kill for him. Well, they open it up. Smith goes down. RPK trying to fight back in this situation. Manages to find 2.